GA anesthesia. We have a throw pack all the way in with a marker on it, like you're going to use hospital. This is the retractor, the all-in-4 retractor that I use. If you're planning these cases, I highly recommend you guys get one of them. Can you see it okay?
Yeah. Oh, it's awesome too.
The nice thing about this retractor is that you can kind of maneuver it yourself and kind of get a good view of everything that's going on. And your assistant can easily hold it too. I think Henry and Shine sells it. You kind of want to get this, there's different kinds. You want to get the one, and I bought the wrong ones too. So you want to get the one that has these little bars going across. If you guys want to come get a picture of it later on the table, that's good too. But you want to make sure it has these bars. If it doesn't have these little two bars here, I found, is the lip will come through this and it will not help you at all. So this, with just those two little bars, the lip will not come through. So if you remember yesterday, we kind of cut across. So I kind of go at the CG of the teeth and I kind of cut the papillas right off the bat here. Section. Same thing with the palate. I cut right straight across. I had a question yesterday about the nasopalatine foramen. We definitely try to save the nerve, but I don't see any fault at if it gets severed. It's not a huge deal.
You can get her lower lip just a little bit, Jackie. Yeah.
So look at this. I'm going to cut it straight across so that when I lift the flap, it's pretty much a straight. Straight shot across. The edentulous patients are probably the hardest ones to flap most of the time, to tell you the truth. Now I raise the flap all the way up, and I identify both nasal floors too. So you want to give yourself some room here. Get the flap so you know where everything is. So here's nasal floor right here. All the way up, and then the palatal I cut across also, so I can quickly raise that flap, at least get it started so I can get the teeth out real quick. Dr. Ferrier, at any time if anyone wants to come in here, they're more than welcome. Do an oral surgery bridge removal technique. Dr. Ferrier. Just get the whole bridge and teeth out at the same time. Yeah, there you go. There's a gift for anybody. What's going on over there? So here's the other thing I was talking to you guys about. I talked to you guys about lower jaw extending it all the way back. In the upper, you have to extend it to the tuberosity too. So almost make like a, back here by the tuberosity, almost like a third molar incision. You gotta clear all that out. You can't just leave that untouched. So you gotta take the flap all the way back. This is just like when you're taking an upper third molar out. Take the flap all the way back here, so then I can smooth it out too. So the palatal lift it up. Our assistant Jackie here is gonna help us retract that. I don't tie the palatal tissue. I know some guys put a sling suture here and tie the palatal tissue. The problem with that is that every time you want to try in your guide or your denture, you have to release the stitch. So on the upper, I don't do it. It's not really necessary. Palatal tissue stays out of the way nicely. I'm using a little Selden. Yeah, ash, please. Dr. Ferrier, I take, so what I want to say is that I take out the centrals and laterals real quickly, making sure that they're going to come out relatively easily. Their teeth don't want the canine you want to be careful with. Don't go real crazy trying to take it out right off the bat if it's not moving. Take your time taking that canine out so you at least maintain some buccal plate. Even if you're going to reduce that bone. Hold that please, Jackie. So just with an ash forceps, I take the laterals and let's get this coming a little bit clean. You want to make the extraction part relatively straightforward. So I kind of try and give it a shot to the canine. If it breaks, it's okay, then we'll just take it out separately here. So look at here, I got an edentulous area here. I'm going to cut it like I'm kind of planning ahead. I'm going to cut portion of that crestal tissue out right off the bat. I'm not going to even make one incision, two incision, palatal, buccal, and that way.
Can you get the corner of the mouth a little bit, Jackie, please?
So just take that tissue out.
Perfect.
Anybody like to do any connective grafting? Here we are, nice tissue here. So I already anticipate what I'm going to be doing later. It's excess tissue here.
Excellent.
Raise the flap real quick. You want to get the extraction and the flap done relatively quickly, but carefully. You don't want to tear tissue everywhere that you have to go fix later. So everything's done calculated. So initially I go quickly and take out some of the bone a little bit quickly with the rongeur just to get a little bit flattened out so I can put my guide in there. Oh. Right, so as I said, you gotta look at that like a brittle, carious, full mouth case. On her, right away from the X-ray and everything, I knew that these teeth are going to come out really quickly. So it's more of a time issue. If I feel like these teeth aren't going to break or do anything, or if I start taking a couple out and they all break at the crown breaks, I just stop and then I go to that technique. Okay, here's the guide, beautiful guide made by the team, like we talked about. The lingual is trifying that until the first molar. Got the palatal so I can seat it nicely on the palate. And there's my 15 millimeter mark. So, Jackie, where's my caliper? He doesn't trust me, so he goes more than 15. So I have a caliper here, very basic, nothing exciting. Here's 15 millimeters here. Central to that. It is a little bit higher. My God, it is like 6 millimeters higher. No, I'm just kidding. Here's my collection of pencils that I was telling you guys about. I have a lot of them. No, I actually when I bought some actually. IKEA was getting. Okay, here it is. So I seat it on the palate. Make sure I'm really seated anterior, so it's nice and clear. Then it's gotta be sharpened pencil. Jackie's holding that, so I go above right where my line is, and I make that line at that 15 millimeter mark. So I'm going to make a little bit so then I finish the line across. You want to stand above the patient so you can see it's nice and straight. And I already know from my scan that if around this area after I reduce the bone, I'm probably going to end up touching the sinus floor there. hopefully. Oh, no, okay. Then I put that back in there, check it again, measure my line, very nice, all the way across. Everyone see that okay? This is the part you want to get that palatal tissue. Now, as I told you guys, in the lower, you've already tied down the tissue by the tongue, just out of the way. Here, you just want to reflect this so my assistant can, or your assistant can. Here's the nasopalatal nerve. I didn't sever it. It's going right in the canal. You just lift it back. So it's no problem. When I get near there with a burr, sometimes I just use a rongeur to get some of the bone out so I'm not damaging it if I can. No issues. No issues. But I try my best to keep it. I know some guys that just cut through it, but... So everything's lifted. I can see nicely this retractor holds everything out of the way. Let me put one more gauze here just to catch some water. It's a BNR 1 to 2 drill. You put it on 2000, same speed as your osteotomy, and it works really fantastic. So, water, check the water, you got a foot pedal. I'm going to stand behind the patient. And Jackie's going to reach the other way, please. She's got Selden back here to protect the palatal tissue. Watch your lower lip. And I just start in the middle like we talked about. That's very sweet. Okay, so with the 703 burr here, the key is to stand above the patient. If you don't stand above the patient, you're not going to do it very well. You're going to cut all the way to the palatal, poke through, and then just walk that all the way. So I can turn up the water just a little bit for you. So nicely just cuts the bone. You know? Very smooth. And this is just a 703 burr. If you like to use a saw, this is what the saw you use. And I poke through the palatal and I just cut right across. Look how much this is easier than taking a pineapple burr and I'll put one on later to just smooth things down, but for the initial part, there's the palatal. Go to the other side. For a maxilla, this is quite a bit of bone reduction. If she needs it, you can tell that from her smile when you need that reduction. This is the portion that if you have roots left in there still, just be cognizant of where they are so don't leave them behind, but just cut through them. It's much easier to take it, periodontal later and just smack on with a little hammer and good to go. It's not technical terms, but... The nice thing is that you can undo this and just bring the burr out just a little bit to get a little extra length on it if you need to. This is not recommended by the company, but 703. Just a plain old 703 I use for my wisdom teeth. I try to keep it simple. There's no reason to get all fancy too much. Just pretend you're in Tijuana working and that's what you got. Never, but it's a possibility. So look, just take a little elevator, like chisel, mallet, anything. Boom, boom, boom. Here's a present for take home.
Nice.
There it is. Now, if you feel like you want to grind that, you can. I'm not feeling this by this time. There's not that much sockets left anyways. That's nice. So I keep that. I'll definitely keep that just for a bit. We break a bottle of bone or minerals and then we need it. So we'll put it in a little moist towel. We put it in the back. Exactly. I found that, Mineros, of course, from BioHorizon, is my favorite bone. You just pack a little bit in the sockets. There's not that much sockets left most of these cases. And I feel like that's just going to do much better. So just come with a rongeur, get some of the soft tissue out of the way, near the tori. Remove a little bit more. I'm going to use the pineapple burr right now in a second to around the nerve, like I told you guys. I'm just going to do that, chip away a little bit. So here's the sinus. You can see it right there, membrane completely intact. You didn't cut through the membrane, you see it?
Yeah, just a little bit on the lower lip there. Yeah.
Yeah.
There you
It's
go.
right there with my fingers. See it? There you go. And sometimes if that sinus is very visible, and just for fun, I want to see what this is a sinus member right there. I just want to see where the back of the wall is. Just put a little curette, like you're doing a sinus lift. Just walk it down and just kind of get a feel of kind of where it starts. I mean, pretty far forward, but that just just for a check. This side I haven't seen it yet. The nerve's still intact. There's the nerve. A little local in the nerve for hemostasis. So you go right in the nasopalatal nerve. By the way, for the lower jaw, for hemostasis, after I've got the mental nerve identified and dissected nicely, I actually inject in the mental nerve. I've done it, multiple people I know have done it, it does not damage the nerve. So I go right in the foramen and I inject in there for hemostasis. Pineapple or?
You cover the sinus.
That sinus. If the membrane is torn, then I put a membrane usually. But because you're closing primarily over it and the membrane is intact. That's, by law, that's kind of, my rule of thumb. For the pineapple, I just use this guy right here. It's a little football barrel, I guess I should say. I turn the speed down a little bit to 1300. It works a little bit better. So, what was the question, Uncle? No, left side a little further up. But slowly kind of finish the back here real quickly just to smooth it out. But most of my alveoloplasty is done right now. Back checking. And this is where I just want to take out and clear out that tuberosity area, smooth that down so the flux goes nicely. But I take all the way back. You see, I'm always right third molar area. Smooth it all the way back. Right here. That's not what you want. Come back all the way. I can go move before I tell you. See right there? If this case turned into a, hold this please. Okay. Turned into a we can't load for some godly reason, but if it happens, obviously, if it happens, then you gotta come back and round out all the edges because now you're gonna put a dent in it. A bone file? I always check these things because these are things that are gonna have require a second surgery to fix. Okay, a little bone file, just a tuberosity, just smooth it out a little bit. Get rid of these things out of the way now. You don't need to do it later. Good. So nice and flat. If you look from up top, it's nice and flat from there. Okay, back in with the guide. And now I got the guide seated. I'm above my 15 millimeter mark. This is where I call Dr. Ferrier in to come check. It's teamwork. Hold this, Jackie, please. Like this. Well, since she has lower teeth, you can occlude her too, just so you see it. Give her that deep of a bite.
Will you hold it from the side and then close your jaw?
Are you ready?
Yeah, hold.
Close
There
it.
you go.
So there's a bone.
Yeah.
Maybe just a little touch right there, but I can see it all the way back is clear.
How much bone do you have right in the anterior there?
How much?
Do you have a little bit more that we can bring up?
I can maybe just tip it up a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, because if her bite is deep like that,
Yeah.
I'd rather have a longer cylinder.
Yeah, we can.
So if you think,
Right there.
yeah,
So maybe too much more, but I can do a little bit more.
yeah, give me whatever you can in the anterior
Got it.
because of that deep bite.
Okay, so everyone see how I check with the guide. The other way to check the posterior with a guide is take a You take a little, like a Ferrier, you can take this little probe that has the markers. You can see that through the palette and check, make sure you have 15 millimeters here, basically. That's another way to check it. So Malek. Exactly. Exactly. Morning. So a little bit more, right here. You have mask and gown, by the way, if anyone wants to. So that's totally up to you. Gowns are right outside. The mask. Like, try to get the mask lost up. Third floor. Yes, sir.
There's some on the table here.
You want to take a look?
You know, if you want to point out, Dr. Sharafi, I think you can see your pencil line.
Oh, yeah.
Get right to the line.
Yep. Rock through.
Nice and flat, you know.
Perfect.
All right. You're not worried about that sound.
No way. Can we get primary close? It was a tear in the membrane. Put a membrane, like a block membrane on top of it,
Okay.
and close it. But, you know, treatment for sinus was primary closure, so we're going to be closing primarily anyway. There's a little torn here, so I'll probably put a membrane there for her. You can see it right now.
You can see your pencil line right where you hit the border of it.
So
right
when we
there.
have a little openings, a little torn membrane right here, which is not a big deal at all, I put a little block membrane on top of it, and then we close it before closing. Larry, what were you saying?
Where you mark your cut line.
Oh, here's my pencil mark. You can see the ledge of it here, so I'm all the way to the top of it. Is that what you asked?
Yeah.
Okay. That's what you gotta do. That's the most important part of the surgery to me. Flap, extractions, and bone reduction. Now you're basically ready to go. Okay, remember how I showed you guys the x-ray that I planned? I'm gonna put my little caliper at 24 millimeters. Now if you remember, we are gonna enter that osteotomy on the right side since the socket is there. So you remember yesterday when I planned it out, on the right side, we said we're going to enter that first premolar area. So there's the central, lateral, canine, first premolar. So my entrance point is going to be right there. Now if I angle it a little bit, you're going to be able to, so I draw a little line. You know, sometimes you can see the hollowness of the sinus anyway. So, you know, mark kind of where you want to put it. I'll put my second implant probably here because we have good length there. And this side, which since we have sockets, there was no teeth to pull out. Jackie, hold please. As I measured yesterday, I showed you guys 24 millimeters. So I basically put it in the nasopalatine foramen area. So that's where I measured it. That's 24 millimeters. I make a little mark. And with a pencil, we finish it up. And a little angle. And this is where I'm going to put my number 10 area. And that's what it's going to look like. So my first drill is a precision drill. A little bit more anterior. A little bit more anterior, saying? Yeah. Of course I can. Of course. So with the first drill, I have the angled line drawn here, 30 degrees. There's the canine, but automatically when you look at the x-ray, you can see the canine root is basically at the ledge of the sinus. So you almost have to aim past through the canine there. So I start always a little palatal. Don't come to buccal. Go to the palatal bone. It's stronger anyways. And kind of start with, this is a precision drill. It's a little sharp drill. It's the first drill. You don't make a huge hole if it's a long drill. Just kind of work it, angle it, and angle this one just a little bit more because I know I'm going to go a little bit more straight. Just feeling good bone. Power bone is nice and strong. So put that in first. Now, you can have different ways of doing it. If you want to do one implant at a time, you can. Obviously, at this point, I just do all four of them at the same time. So So I kind of go to the other side. That's my measurement. I'm hoping my measurement is correct. I got the angle, the line, everything set up. Buckle. Nice and dense. So I make all the holes at the same time. You know. But you know, some people like to do one implant at a time to make sure. So per request of Dr. Ferrier, the number 8 and 10. Again, power. When you go come to the buckle, power. Oh, you get a nice straight multi-unit abdomen on here. And sometimes, and most of the time, you're gonna feel the nasal floor here. So far so good. I haven't drilled any more yet. Hold on, doctor. You don't talk about the case until it's done. I'm a big jinxing person.
Your minimum implant is 12 millimeters. Minimum implant is 12 millimeters in size.
12 lengthwise? Yeah, 12 is a good size. I like 12. But anterior, you can put 10s. 10s I feel 10.5s I feel very comfortable with. Again, as I said yesterday, the longer and bigger you put it, you gotta think about later, that's what you have to replace these. You don't have an extra length to go to, you're gonna have some width to go to. The next drill, this is just, as you guys see what having asked in the Horizon kit, I have it here obviously, you can see it. Beautiful, colorful. Just like Steve Bond. Okay, after I do my 2mm twist, ballpark of what? There's a reason they made multi-unit abutments at different angles. I can be anywhere I want. I'll just turn the implant and have it come the right way. I mean, in reality, people are like, "What, are you having the right position?" We'll make it the right position. A Ferrier probe. Yes, I have a Ferrier probe. And then what you want to do, check the back of, look how I'm sliding this against the back of that wall. Back part of that maxilla, right? So if I can rub the Ferrier probe along there and there's no holes, I'm pretty safe. I'm in front of the sinus. Come to the other side. Again, I walk it behind the back of that. You see I'm checking it with the Ferrier probe. You can really feel it. If you're in the sinus, you'll know it at this point. The front one's just not a big deal. We'll figure that out. So that's where I check. Now, yes. So, then if it's in the sinus, then you go back to the precision drill from the same hole. You either change it angulation towards the palatal, or you change it more anteriorly and angle the implant a little bit more. It's a little, or you may have to come more forward. So if this was in the sinus right here, I either would come in and kind of change the angle like a little bit further back, or I have to come up a little bit. That's why you want to check it at the 2mm twist point. Because otherwise you've already made your hole, and most of these cases you get one shot. Now if the back of the wall, if I just feel a little bit of that sinus wall missing, it's okay. Because that's not a big deal. You push the membrane back a little bit, you can still put your implant in. So as long as the whole thing is not blown out, then you're okay. Now this is where the check comes in. These beautiful BioHorizon multi-unit guides. I believe these are 20 degrees, not 30 degrees, but still okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put it into my osteotomy because you can only put it in the 2mm twist site. Number 2. What's the second angle one? I took it out. Where did I put it? Here. There's the second one. Do you guys see the importance of anesthesia here, by the way? And I'm not stopping to give more medication. I'm not stopping to give more local. You're doing your work. Is it okay, doctor? Stop me at any time. Pretty good? What do you mean pretty good? Okay. So I put it in. Long and behold. Jack, you hold this?
Pull the corners of the...
That's a straight. These are all straights. Everyone happy with that? Check. What do you say? Well, I wanted to get the okay from you. Okay. Sure, man. Aren't these beautiful here? Okay. Alright, bone is very dense, so we're going to continue our osteotomy. If it was a bad bone, I would maybe stop at this point, you know, and put a 3/8 in right away. But this bone is dense, so I know I can continue. So this is the 2.5, right? Every time I make the, go with the next drill, this one just kind of makes the pipe a little opened up here. This is the part that if you're really close to the sinus, you're going to pop right into the sinus. So go very slowly, take your time. This is more trickier case, that's the way you do tricky cases. Right there. Speed, 2000. But I'm not pressing all the way down, I'm actually kind of just slowly kind of working it. Yeah. Good irrigation, 2000 is usually good. So again, come back out, take the Ferrier probe, check the back wall here, make sure it's all bone. Check the back wall, make sure it's all bone. So this way, you know, you've got it exactly copying what you planned on the CT scan. So we have a magenta drill now, because the next drill technically before was straight to the 3/8. So I don't want to drill a full 3/8 right now. The magenta drill is for the 3/4. So since I have that, which is amazing, great, love it. We're going to go here with the magenta fully in. Yeah. In fact, if I put more than 12 here, it'll probably hit the front implant. That's the kind of it. Love it. Once you got your initial osteotomy going, the rest is relatively straightforward. Okay, so I'm going to keep it wet here, sorry. So now I finished the 3/4 drill. I kind of have a feeling of which osteotomy hole is a little denser than the other. The area that we had the edentulous part is pretty dense. So I'm actually going to take the 3/4 and just go maybe like a third of the way in. Just to open that top portion. If you have a thin ridge right now, if you don't open the top portion of the osteotomy, this is where it's going to out fracture. You start cranking that implant in, and all of a sudden you see a nice long fracture along the ridge here, and you get to say, uh-oh, that's a problem. So we have a nice wide ridge. It's not going to fracture, I already know it. So I'm just going to open the top open a little bit. Just kind of flare it out a little bit. Just a little bit too. The problem side on this case was the right side. We already knew it. The sinus was a little bit more anterior. You know, the spread's going to be a little different in that area. But okay, we're going to get our mountless laser lock 3.8 by 12 implant. I rinse all the osteotomy sites with Paradex. It's just a personal thing. I rinse everything with Paradex. There's in size and everything. That's just me. But this is a good time to get a really nice irrigation everywhere. Clean everything out. Because that's what I want to engage. And look, 10 millimeters on the probe is that I can feel the ledge of the bone, where the nasal floor starts. I can feel it with the Ferrier probe right now. It's right at 10, 11 millimeters. Yeah, so everything's under prep. I only use the last drill just to open the top portion of these. And then if I'm putting them in and it's really, really too tight, I'll take the implant in and drill some more. But start slow. Don't go overboard at the first, you know. Okay, here's the implant. It's nice and easy to... Where is it? Where's the camera? One step meaning... Oh, so again, last full drill I used was the magenta, which is for the 3.4. That's the midline, middle between the 2.5 and the 3.8. You see how it's magenta color? That's for the 3/4. The yellow, which was the drill for the 3/8 implant, I only went about a third in. And notice that the yellow color on it goes about a third of the, it's about 5 millimeters. And that's a good sign, good amount of drills just to take in and out. Okay, 35 newtons, first implant. This is the part I was telling you about, that you're gonna bury the front. If it goes about halfway in, I feel pretty good about that. I'm gonna stop it there. This is 35, I already stopped. Halfway in, so I'm gonna take my little torque driver here. Gabe.
Oh, we can't the power to.
That's okay. Gabe's just gotta hit the button. So this, it's kind of fun in the dark. This is the extender that goes on this and this torque driver. This torque driver does not have the actual torque value on it. You can get those. I kind of know now what the feel is like when I put an implant in that I feel comfortable with. It's got an extender if you want it. This is the extender part, depending on kind of how big. Let's do it without the extender. And it's very nice. It fits very easily into the implant. Some companies it's hard time to put that in, but right now it's really tight. So I'm not concerned if my torque is above 35. I already know, but I know it's not 80, it's not 90, it's not 60. We're probably about 40 newtons right now. It's easily, smoothly going in. It's expanding the bone as it's going in. I can feel it. I'm not splitting the ridge. I'm watching this. You got to watch this. Mountless laser lock tapered internal. So I buried the implant. Oh wait. Nice and tight. Dr. Ferrier? I've buried almost the mesial side of the implant all the way down. Remember we talked about that yesterday? And if you look at these markers, it's hard to see it on the camera, but you can see it. You see these little markers on the little driver? There's 6 of them. If you put that little marker, this is why most of the time I automatically get my multi-unit in the right spot, is you want that little marker to be facing the middle little link, kind of little bit palatal of that ridge. If you have that facing that way, almost always your multi-unit abutment will be the right spot for the 30 degree. This is the line here. It's right in the middle of the ridge, a little palatal. Does that make sense? Okay. Can I get another 3812 mountless laser lock, please? I always put the 2 back ones in because those are always a trouble child. So if they're done with, then I know that I'm pretty happy and move on. This is exactly what I want. I want that implant halfway in with my motor. So if I'm halfway in at 35 newtons, that's a good thing. Little driver, nice and easy. Don't do it too hard, nice and easy. If it's too tight, you take it out, you turn it back, you turn it forward. Sometimes I spend 5 minutes putting an implant in. If I don't feel like re-drilling it, or for some reason I'm not re-drilling it, take your time. Don't try to crank it in too hard. Again, take the mesial side of that implant below the crest. I'm all the way below the crest. I can really take those cover screws off of those implants too. So again, put that little marker, mid-crest, little palatal. Look where the marker is. You want to see that? Oh, sorry. There. There's a marker right there. It's the middle of the crest, little palatal. And watch where the 30 degrees is going to go when I can put it in. Of course, you can also watch it be the wrong location, but that's besides the point. Yes. So look at this. The mesial side of that implant is completely buried. And look at the back. The back's about 3 millimeters buried. This is the one you're going to put a cover screw on and kind of flare the back out now. So I'll show you guys that too. While Jackie, all about speed. While Jackie's getting our cover screw ready, I can come in here, put the next implant in. I'm not worried about suctioning because it's an intubated patient. Dr. Sun's looking at me funny right now. So for the front ones, I always use the little extender, so it's easy to hook it up. That way you have a little bit more leverage here. Can I grab another 10.5, please? So nice and tight. These you take about a 0.5 millimeter below the crest also. I try really, really hard not to put any of these implants into extraction sites. So if you have a long extraction site still remaining, I don't put it in there. It's hard to fill up the gap and have it be nice. So I usually go between the septum of two implants. Here the socket ends right there, so I'm not worried about it. But otherwise, if this long socket was existing and long, I usually go right in the middle. You know? Get another millimeter. Halfway in almost. If you're gonna stop right away, take it out, drill a little bit more.
If you were to put one right in the middle, and then we bring it back with a 30.
If I put one here, yeah, you have to tilt it back a little bit.
Yeah, but that would give me more spread. Because if you look at the posterior on the right side, there's not a lot of space in between those two implants. No? Okay, like I need a little bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to put one,
Yeah.
so you're gonna have to bring it back with a 30. Just how?
Or 17 maybe.
Probably 30.
30.
Yeah. Can I see the guide in there right now?
Well, something on that.
Oh, right.
Causing a lot of issues there, Dr. Ferrier.
Sorry about that. I shouldn't be in the surgical suite. I'm a mess.
You see?
Okay.
So my implant's gonna go. It's gonna go right here.
And then you're gonna drop it back with a 30. Okay.
30
And
and
then
17. Either one.
can you lift the flap there so I can see where the other implants are?
This is the other one.
Yeah. Okay, so those will be straight.
This
Then
is,
can you
this
just?
one, this is the one you said it might be 17.
Yeah, I think we're gonna be straight.
And then-
Can you go ahead and have her just close into the guide real quick? Okay. Now, will you hold the guide with both fingers, and then have her open? Good. Now let me see.
Doctor, did you ever put a long guide pin on just to see the trajectory?
Absolutely. Sometimes we do put a long guide pin in, but
Idea.
we're just winging it right now.
There's two pins right here, yeah, Dr. Ferrier.
So this is gonna be close, doctor.
Yeah. Okay, we'll put a 17
So
then.
basically, if I put a little driver on.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, we'll go 17 on that one.
It's gonna be straight, and then the back
Okay,
side will be
so do
30.
17, 30 straight, and then 30s in the back.
Got it.
Cool.
You want to do 3 millimeter?
As long as you have a 30 with that, did we order enough?
What do you have over there? I have plenty, but whatever you have there, let's see. What you want?
Do you have the 30 degree for the 3 up?
I think I can get a 3/8 in there.
Oh, that's fine. Okay, you get 3/8, that's better. Just make sure you don't angle too far forward.
No, I'm gonna follow it. Okay, we're gonna put another implant in per the request. See, I'm angling this back a little bit. So there's the foramen right there, right? So look at how much bone you have in a vomer. There's a lot of bone to work with in the vomer. This vomer is a great location for an implant. You can angle into it. too much water, huh? You really need one more 10.5 millimeter, 3.8, 10.5, yeah. Halfway. No, I'm not in the canal. What are you talking about? There's the canal. There's the canal, and this is the hole. Like half a mile away. Did you get the multi-unit abundance for me? Like if Ferrier did get someone get the multi-unit abundance for us? Or somebody? Gabe? Gabe can come do it.
These are Frank Charles.
Come on, Jackie. Jackie. Okay, great. So here's the multi-unit abundance. We looked at these yesterday. We're gonna get one of our BioHorizon pins here. And initially I'm gonna go ahead and attach it. So there's a 30-degree change. Okay, and then you just take a little hand driver and remove it from the plastic cap. Now, on the back end of it, this little guy here is the healing cap that's gonna go on it. You may have previously seen some other company have the white one, doesn't matter what color. We're going to keep that. So I always go ahead and put this on because it's so much easier to manipulate this abutment in the back of the mouth. So I come back and I kind of know where that little line was that I placed there, so kind of wiggle it in a little bit, make sure it's in the right location. And then I take my 90-degree and I watch this. You want to watch this thing go all the way down to the surface of the bus. So I'm watching it all the way down, nothing holding it back. So we'll put that on. Can I have another one, please?
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Cool.
We'll put the two back ones on, and then we're going to try to guide in.
Doctor, have you ever flushed the implant with chlorhexidine before placing the abutments?
Inside the hole. I just did.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a great point. Flush it out. Flush out your implant, interconnection of your implant before you put the abutment on. So you don't get debris stuck in there. So here's the next one. I mean, you can already tell that when I put this 30-degree on and I check it with the lower, it's lining up with the lower already. Where's the camera? You can't see this. No? Can you zoom back a little bit, please? So, I mean, just for a check, because I'm including the lower. So it's in the right vicinity already. So I'll put the other one on. So the multi-unit abutment doesn't go all the way down. You kind of feel it drop in, and then you got to walk it down with a little driver. So all the way down. The pins are on. Look parallel. It's not torqued yet. This is just hand tightened right now. So then I put his guide on, and we look. Why can't we see?
Pull the corners of the...
There you go.
And then Larry and FC also, we can check with them, see if they like when it's coming out.
That's
FC?
good.
Right here in the camera.
That's fine, yeah.
It's good?
Yep.
Which one you like better, the right one or the left one?
Well, it depends of the day, but
I like the right one, a little bit more palatable. So you can turn the implant a little bit if you want to, but if they're okay with it, they're okay with it. Okay, we're actually looking second premolar and second premolar. So here's the 17 degree, which we decided we're going to put on. Can you section the top of the implants, please? And this one right here. Dr. Ferrier, did you say 30 on the front one, or do you want to check it again before we decide that? I kind of angled it. Palatal, so it might be a 17. Surprise. So here's a 17 on this one. Then we wanted a straight on that one. So can I get a straight, please?
What string you got?
Straight, yeah, let's do straight. Dr. Ferrier is the boss.
3.5, 3 millimeters straight.
So I'm going to put the straight, and I'm going to check the midline one. The straight is easy because it's got this thing on it already. And then the middle one, I'm going to take actually my implant, the little piece that I used for the drawing the implant in, just put it in there as a test. Look how parallel everything is, doctor.
It's not bad.
How pretty is it? Wash your foot.
Oh, I did it again.
Yes. I just got wet. Jackie,
I just got wet in a region that looks awkward.
that would be a straight. This midline. So I think 17. This is like straight.
No, that needs to
No,
be 17.
17.
Yes.
So can I have a 17, 3
Yep.
millimeter? You okay straight this one, doctor?
What's that?
Is okay with the straight here?
Yeah, that's fine. Yep, good to go.
3.5,
always like a 3 millimeter?
3 millimeter straight.
3 millimeters,
3 millimeter
17
all the
degrees,
way.
right?
No, sorry. 17.
7.
Low, that's okay. We don't want it like fiery. Right. That's not good.
Now, if your abutments, if you're putting these on, they're not perfectly parallel, you can rotate the implant a little bit. So this one, I don't like it right now, so I'm going to turn it a little bit. Let's come towards the other abutment. That's why it's important to leave the pins in. So we'll put it here. And if I just rotate the implant back this way a little bit, it should be good. Does that make sense?
Oh, so that's the reason you drill them a little deep, so you can play with that.
You can play with it. You can go deeper, you can come shallow, because sometimes you have to go another full turn because the implant's not tight enough. So you gotta go tighter. Pretty parallel, the straight. I'll put a pin on here that's not, just to check. So here's all 5 of them here. We're gonna put the guide back on, just to check. There it is. Doctor, you see? There you are. Whatever you like. FC and Larry. Happy?
Yeah, looks like it.
You like 10? Or do you like it
This one here?
I want that one.
That's a straight. Remember you wanted a straight on that. No? It's a little bit different angle. That's the only thing. So, sounds good. Sounds good. So can I get another 17, please, if you have it? 3 millimeter?
Yeah, that. Yeah.
I'm going to keep this straight here. Where's the 17 we have?
Right there.
Okay. I'm out of pins, so I'll use this pin. It may yell at me, but it's okay. Doctor, is everyone awake over there?
It's time for more sugar. They died down.
Yes, I have a lot of quietness. I have no music here today. Okay, oh, that's pretty. That's pretty. Always check with the guy. Oops. Look it up.
Like my head.
Is that good? You happy? Okay, all the pins are coming off now. Let's get the guide up. So this is a torque driver that I have. We have one by Horizon 2 you can buy, which is this one right here. It's a hand-driven one. You can set the torques right here as an insert and you torque the abutment. I have this in my office. It's a nice one. It's called the torque control. It goes 10, 15, 20, 20, 30. Just rotate what torque you want. It's really nice, 90 degrees. So everything gets torqued to 30, which is awesome. My favorite part of these multi-unit abutments. And you hear a little click as I go around. Boom. Yes. Did you say if I have delicate hands? Okay, listen to that. Do not torque these little protective caps that go on here, please. Just hand tighten, please. Okay? So just hand tight. Okay, now the fun part. If you put a fresh 15 on. Okay, we're going to go to the most important part. Now we're going to do some tissue trimming, okay? So even though I cut so much tissue, Jackie's doing something. So much tissue, I still need to cut more. So I grab the areas where, I grab the tissue to see if it's where it's coming over, and I, with a fresh 15, make the nice circular incisions around each abutment. You do not need this tissue. There's plenty of tissue, so cut a lot. You gotta cut a lot. This is how it's gonna get nice. Look how it's sitting, without even suturing. Look how nice it's already sitting around those. You see that? That's it. And this is gonna be extra, so I already know this is gonna be extra. I'm gonna cut a little bit more here between, and then I'm gonna cut the middle one. I'm just gonna go walk this all the way across here. Cut a lot of tissue. Don't make your life harder. Always when you cut these palatal ones, things start bleeding a little bit. So we reduced a lot of bone, so there's going to be a lot of excess tissue. If anyone wants to take a connective tissue graft home, here we go.
Got tissue.
Yeah. Hold this gently. Is the visual good on the screen?
You ever thin the tissue?
Yeah, sometimes you have to thin it out because it's, you know, see, Dr. Ferrier likes the 3mm ones, and that's going to make my life a little harder. But, so you have to cut more now. 3, because per your request. I mean, I do what you want. Well, you think it's great, but what's great to you may not be great to others. Take a little local. Now I got a bleeder here. We're going to use hemostasis. Just inject in the palatal areas where you cut this. Those are always bleeding spots. I have a cautery already hooked up to the patient. If I need it, I can grab it real quickly. You have to have a cautery, okay? Cauterized bone, it's okay. Otherwise, you'll be dealing with a lot of bleeding in some patients after you make your alveolectomy. So, I take a 2x2 gauze and I press down, make sure everything's in the palatal sitting right. So it looks pretty good. Maybe a little bit more, sorry, right here. This is going to be... Good. Okay, now I don't use a blade for the buckle. I use a nice little small scissor, almost like a dissection scissor. And Jackie's going to relax now. I'm going to grab that tissue and come on, Jack, relax. I make little circular cuts around those. Just do the front 3, front 2 only. Jackie, relax. So you want this gently to just lay across there. Sometimes you don't need it. Like this, I don't think I need it. This, I don't think I need it. There's not that many sockets to fill here. The back area where the sinus is exposed, I'm going to cover with the membrane. I got a canine here. I got a couple smaller holes. I'm just going to fill those with some graft material real quickly, Mineros.
Would you smooth out that canine?
This right here, I do not want to smooth it out because that's going to fall off as the emergence of us on your denture, on your hybrid. So if you take that canine eminence down, it's going to look really odd. It's going to be a food trap. Don't take this canine eminence down. It's not sharp. I smooth it. I check it with my hand. I check everything with my hand. If it's sharp, I smooth a little the bone file, but do not take a burr and remove this canine eminence because your hybrid is going to sit here. If you don't have an eminence all of a sudden, and now it's a food spot. So clear out the sockets real well. Suction piece. Where's the membrane?
Okay, I'm clear.
Okay, let me cut a couple small pieces here before we start. So I use the larger piece over for the sinus. I'm going to just cut a couple small pieces for over the sides here. As I'm closing. Dr. Ferrier, my recommendation is that you don't use bovine bone here and use mineros, which is cadaveric bone, because the bovine bone will stay around too long and it starts coming through the tissue sometimes, and patients will have issues later. That's my thought process on that. This is the part you want to make sure that you have hemostasis before you close. Come on in, Jackie. So good bites. Can you put that away and hold them over? You see how it comes together now? It's nice and already cut. You don't have to trim anything anymore, you know. But always start. Always start in the front and move your way back. Do not start with the back. Always start with the front implant and move yourself back. So you want to get the back of all the front implants. So just you're tucking the tissue in. You're getting it nice and tight. Yes. Yeah. I'll wait until I get that side so it's not floating everywhere.
With the shallows, the sockets were.
Yes.
How important is it to do osseous grafting and membrane right
Good question. I would say 90% of the time I'm not filling in the sockets.
now?
I like the canine, you know, just to fill in the canine sometimes,
Yeah.
just to keep that bone there. But you know, think ahead too. Think ahead that if something fails, you have to come back and put another implant somewhere. So socket grafts, you know, as much as probably not as necessary here. If you fill it in, you're giving yourself opportunity later in case something happens. Always think ahead. Think what's going to happen and what can I do to fix the problem. Because initially I didn't think about that, and I was just doing the case. And I'm like, oh, this is awesome. And then things start falling apart. So I take extra time with suture, and there's no rush. Dr. Sun, you okay? I always check, make sure an anesthesiologist is awake.
But that's another benefit of having an anesthesiologist is you can focus on your work and your stitching and
I mean, think about it. If you were doing IV sedation right now, patients moving around, patients waking up, you're trying to chase the medication, it gets tricky. Now, if I wasn't talking, I'd be moving a lot faster than I am right now, but still. Look how nice and tight the tissues are around these little abutments.
The 2 arches I've done, I just did local anesthesia.
Hmm?
I did local, I didn't have
Oh,
any
sometimes
sedation.
local is better.
Yeah.
But he had no sedation.
Sometimes local, yeah, sometimes better, but sometimes you can't, you know? These
Yeah.
people are scared. Most of them are that kind of patient. I've never been to the dentist, you know?
Yeah.
So it's not even a choice. But you get sometimes you get like an old guy who's like, oh, I'm good.
Yeah.
Just numb me up.
That's-
I've done that
that's
before.
what-
That's why I love Halcyon. Halcyon's my favorite.
Honestly, it's good too, but it wears off and then people start waking up, you know, for these kind of cases. You get that bird going, the 703, and they're just like, what's going on, you know? I mean, halcyon stuff is great when you're doing some of maybe your Ferrier work and stuff that you're not like wiggling the patient everywhere. That's
Right.
one of the minor stuff I do, but you know, I usually that shit's good for quick cases. You know, like wisdom teeth, I put them down, take the wisdom teeth in 10-15 minutes, we're done. You know.
Right.
So look, I'm putting multiple sutures between. I'm still in the front. I'm still in the front 3. I'm taking my time. You dab it, make sure everything's nice and tight. Put extra sutures. And that little tiny space between the 2 implants, I'm putting 3 sutures. Good whites. Any questions out there? Oh, okay.
Did they leave?
Crickets?
The sugar wore off, they're taking a nap.
Some people are probably, yes. Okay, just remember I haven't trimmed the back tissue yet and the buccal. I just did the palatal side because palatal tissue doesn't move, so you can trim it right away. But you want to get the front ones tacked down before then go back and trim the back tissue. So I'm done with the front.
I heard you say that, that you only trimmed around the front 3, but I
Only front 3. That's the reason.
Gotcha.
Did everyone hear that, Dr. Ferrier? Okay, so I only trimmed the buccal, the palatal tissue, I trimmed all of them. The buccal 3 I only did, or if you have 2, the buccal 2 you'll do. Don't trim the back 2 until you have the front one sutured down. Because the tissue is moving, you know if you're in the right, so all of a sudden you make a little curvature, and you take some tissue off and you're in the wrong spot. So now that everything's nice and tight, I can grab the tissue and pull and see where is it coming over that. I already know I have excess tissue here. And just remember that at the beginning I cut a lot of this away already. But still, I'm still cutting away more. Slowly. So look, this is if I just, you know, this is where it's gonna go. So I grab the buccal, make a little semi-lunar and cut around it. And then what I do is I grab the back end of it and I bring it around the implant and make sure it's gonna look nice. Good. And then I'll do this side. This side already looks like it was an extraction, so this might look good already. There you go. I'm not gonna forget about that sinus on the right. The left's okay. So go to the back of the abutment, the last implant, get that one down first. You tack that first. So it's tacked down nicely tight around the multi-unit abutment. This is very important. It doesn't look important, but it took me a long time to figure out how to suture this kind of cases. So that's nice
Our
and
end, if
tight.
they don't trim the tissue properly, it really makes it hard for us to
To do it, yeah.
do our part to get as flat and tagliо as we can, and to get it to be able to seat without having to really compress it.
Did you say yesterday that it doesn't really care if it, is it surrounded by keratinized tissue? Because it's not a tissue form prosthesis? Wouldn't that give a better attachment to keep the implant open? And really, just a water cake, is that good enough to keep it clean?
Well, in my practice,
How much time do we
4
have
weeks
in
out,
the cart?
we have the hygienist teach them how to use water, especially super formal stuff.
Okay, super false, good. But just
But the hygienist said, we eat it for an hour.
Sort of feel like a Sunday.
Yeah, teach them how to use it. One sec.
Dr. Ferrier, I want to make a point that we have so many different cuff heights with these multi-unit abutments from BioHorizon that if you feel like your tissue is too thick sometimes, you just easily change your neck size, you know? As long as you have interocclusal space. If you don't have interocclusal space, then you don't want to be doing that. But that's where the bone reduction again is key. If you have enough bone reduction, you can put a 30-degree 5mm cuff height, or you can put a 4mm. These are 3s. So if I felt like the tissue was too thick and I couldn't get a nice closure for you, I would switch it to a 4 or a 5, you know? It's good. Yeah. Does it not look alright? I won't say great, but it looks hard. Well, you make me take extra tissue away, which, you know, I'm very tissue friendly. I don't like to be. I'm a tissue friendly oral surgeon. A lot of stitches. I'm still working in front. I haven't closed the back. You may be saying to yourself, this is taking longer than putting the implants in it, and that's true. This is when everybody falls asleep. Jackie falls asleep, Dr. Sun falls asleep. Ferrier? Where's Dr. Ferrier?
He's in the hallway. Need him?
How's the group doing over there, dude?
Are they so loud in there?
No,
Calm.
Yep.
Can everyone hear me in the lecture hall? Just got a hip hip hooray. Give me something.
And yes, it's just this easy.
All good, Dr. Sharafi. Everybody can hear you.
Can you hear me? Yes.
Absolutely.
I got some feedback.
Someone is out there.
Can we get an applause for my assistant Jackie and Dr. Sun here, please? Thank you. For coming in on a Sunday.
Look at you, you're getting some.
Let's not forget it is a Sunday and it's their holiday, and we have them here.
For double time.
And Dr. Sun is volunteering his time, of course.
Oh, wow.
No. Those extra charges are not for Sunday, right? Okay, that looks good. See the front, guys? So I have all the front tucked in nicely. You can sometimes take a little, get a little moist gauze and just push these tissue up around these and make sure you're happy. So now, just finish the back. That's easy. That's the easy part. So I'll trim that little tissue I want to put over the sinus opening. The edges there. Memlock is a great membrane, by the way. I don't know what you guys use, but I've used all of them, and this happens to be my favorite one by BioHorizon, of course, but not because of that. I like it a lot.
Can I jump in here and interrupt real quick?
Of course.
I just want to show everybody the denture. So the denture is here. It's ready to go. Oh,
Just let me back
let
up.
me go over here.
Oh, sorry. Am I blocking you?
Where am I?
Further
Okay.
down. A little bit further back so you're in the light.
Yeah. Okay. Let's pretend I can work out of the mirror here.
That's what I said. I couldn't do it really well.
Okay. So here's the denture. I've drawn lines on where I want my laboratory technician to trim it. And so those are the areas that get caught up most often. Sometimes also I'm going to trim the flanges as well, especially if it's a very large flange that's involved. So I'm going to have Frank Charles do that right now.
Really prefers to be called FC.
I'm sorry, FC.
FC sounds like a soccer team in Europe.
Yeah.
FC Charles playing Liverpool today. So I put that little membrane over the opening, put a stitch over it. I'm gonna get some the backside that goes 3/0 to close. Just gonna put one more here. I usually run the back. Yeah. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good to see you. Does it look okay over there?
Beautiful.
You guys can see on the screen.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me switch to 3/0.
I was wondering if you were gonna come in here.
Yeah, I know.
You're about 5 minutes out?
I was trying to be.
Do you know if he wants the patient a little bit more sleep?
I think he's gonna do one set of impressions and do
And then do
something and then wake him up and do the
I
conversion.
was gonna ask him again so I could write it
Yeah,
down.
I'm gonna take a picture.
so at this point, whatever he wants after, so I'm gonna Dr. Ferrier.
I'm gonna give her some Toradol and give her most of the bleeding stuff.
I've done one.
The back behind the implants, I just use a running baseball type suture.
That's what I did.
3/0 comic.
Put his arm in
So
front
you
of
only
the-
do that.
the
It's
focus.
like it saves a lot of time.
To get up tomorrow morning and do more of these.
You want some clear first tomorrow?
Are you there, doctor?
No.
Who's there? No.
Probably Dr. Miller.
Yeah, that's great right there.
Hmm?
The way she pulled the corner of the lip down. You can see you're suturing over the.
Jackie, how long have you been doing this?
20,
How long?
20.
20 years? Wow.
Yeah, Jackie's been there for a long time.
Longer than Doctor.
Yeah, you probably taught him a lot, right?
Probably not.
Yeah. A good assistant is
Yes.
worth everything.
Yes, you can say that again. We had a little learning curve initially when we started doing these cases. I don't think he has done much of these. But yeah, you guys, girls picked it up. They got a checklist of the table should look like,
Yeah.
to check off. I mean, that table was important, what I have on. It looks
Yeah.
messy now, but. You don't have to get too fancy about it, but you know.
We have a back. So Lucy's now fair then.
Yes.
Can I use the?
Yes.
We'll take the photo afterwards. You guys have this retractor?
I do, yeah.
Gotta get it. It's like a lifesaver. Yeah, I wanted to show you guys the final closure here. Nice and tight. When you take these off, you're gonna be able to see the abundance right away. Jackie,
Put it.
you're gonna wait a little bit to wake up.
Yeah. He wants
So-
to do some stuff.
More colored excellence everywhere. And I have a throw pack.
So we'll stop the recording.
The Yankar section, please.
Do you want to leave that in while they're doing the conversion? Or they're doing the.
They're gonna clear the
Doing the.
get ready for
Or Dr. Ferrier is doing his stuff?
What about it?
The flow pack, do you want to leave it in?
Oh yeah, let's leave it in, huh?
Yeah.
Will you remember?
Yeah, definitely.
So here's my throw pack. You want to get general anesthesia, throw pack all the way back there. It's gonna morph for a minute. Oh yeah. Like you have to morph and stuff. But you gotta use it. You gotta buy different like every shine. It's got a little blue line down the middle of it. God forbid. But he knows it's in there. I know it's in there. But when you put a throw pack in a general anesthesia case, you gotta get it all the way back to by the tube. Still a blue marker on it?
I knew you said it was in there, but I never, was, not until right now.
You know OR, this is what we do, all this to the way back.